Kevin Samuels, A Blood Sacrifice, Part 1 of 3. TV. We're going to be reading from the book of Proverbs, chapter 5. And before we get into this is to weed out those who are just here for entertainment. Though the video is to help us see, the words are to help us have faith. Because faith cometh by hearing, and hearing the word of the Lord. And at the end of the day, we need something for our souls versus exclusively entertainment and information. But we need something for our souls that'll carry us for a lifetime. So with that being said, silence is betrayal. And if you know the truth and don't say the truth, then the blood is on your hands. But it's very important that you know this truth and that you know the word of the Lord, so you can know how to maneuver in situations throughout life that you may have, man or woman. Very, very important. Very, very key to note here. Verse 1. My son, attend unto my wisdom, and bow thy ear unto my understanding, that thou mayest regard discretion, that thy lips may keep knowledge. For the lips of a strange woman drop as a honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil. When the Lord is talking about strange, he is talking about a woman that is of the opposite race of you. Someone that is not of your tribe. Their words might be as sweet as a honeycomb, smoother than oil. But verse 4, but her end is bitter as wormwood. I don't know if any of y'all ever had wormwood before, but it is so bitter that it'll make your other taste buds stronger than what they were before. Super duper bitter. It's just beyond words. And sharp as a two-edged sword. Her feet goeth down to death. Her steps take hold on hell. Now, this doesn't mean that if you're of the opposite race as a whole, this does not mean that you're in that direction. Those who are living a particular lifestyle and are going a whoring, womanizing or manizing, if you will, these are where the steps take you to hell. Verse 6, lest thou shouldest ponder the path of life, her ways are movable, that thou canst not know them. Hear me therefore, O ye children, and depart not from the words of my mouth. Remove thy way far from her, and come not nigh the door of her house. Don't go to her house, don't let her come to your house. Verse 9, lest thou give thine honor unto others, and thy years unto the cruel. So if you get involved with this type of woman or this type of man, you're going to be going through some stuff that you shouldn't even be going through. Verse 10, lest strangers be filled with thy wealth. You get involved with this person, y'all become intimate. Maybe you have children. Your wealth is going to a different tribe. Your wealth is going to a different type of people. And thy labors be in the house of a stranger. Everything that you own is not even yours. It's to them now. Verse 11, and thou mourn at the last when thy flesh and body are consumed. When life is over, the mourning of this, realizing that what you've done, the energy that you put towards this, was all a terrible decision. And say, how have I hated instruction, and my heart despised reproof? What is reproof? When people try to tell you, hey, don't do that. You need to stop doing that. That's reproof. And have not obeyed the voice of my teachers, nor inclined my ear to them that instructed me. I was almost in all evil in the midst of the congregation and assembly. Drink waters out of thine own cistern, and running waters out of thine own well. The Lord is basically saying, yo, you can get to a point where after death, when you realize the life that you have chosen by going with this stranger, that you was at the brink of not making it into heaven. At verse 14, it says, I was almost in all evil in the midst of the congregation and assembly. What is the congregation and assembly? We're talking about the assembly and congregation of the angels, the angelic beings, to the point where you wouldn't have any fountains or different things or which are in heaven to drink from. Verse 16, let thy fountains be dispersed abroad, and rivers of waters in the streets. Let them be only thine own, and not strangers with thee. So what is the fountain? Is the fruit of your loins. Men want to have this woman, that woman, and this person and that woman. The Lord is telling you, don't mess with these strangers. It says, let them be only thy own, your own tribe of people, your own kind. This is not to point fingers and make people feel bad. I'm just telling you what it is. Let's go to verse 18. Let thy fountain be blessed, and rejoice with the wife of thy youth. Again, we're talking about the fruit of your loins. The semen is to go to your wife and not these strangers. Let her be as the loving hind in pleasant roe. Let her breasts satisfy thee at all times. Woo. And thou be ravished always with her love. And why wilt thou, my son, be ravished with a strange woman, and embrace the bosom of a stranger? For the ways of a man are before the eyes of the Lord, and he pondereth all his goings. His own iniquities shall take the wicked himself, and he shall be holden with the cords of his sins. He shall die without instruction, and in the greatness of his folly shall he go astray. You can get so far to a point that you disregard the word of the Lord, you disregard his instruction, and you think that the words that you're telling the world is right. And now you have become a fool that has gone astray. Lord, bless those that are fools so they don't go astray.
The Isaiah Factor Uncensored starts right now.
And good evening and welcome to The Factor Uncensored. Controversial YouTube star Kevin Samuels has died from an apparent heart attack, according to a friend we talked to tonight. We broke the news to you.
So let me chime in real quick. Did you all just see that? There was a subliminal message that was placed in this video. Watch it flicker right about here. Did you see that? Let's chop it up.
The Isaiah Factor Uncensored starts right now.
And good evening and welcome to The Factor Uncensored. Controversial YouTube star Kevin Samuels has died from an apparent heart attack, according to a friend we talked to tonight. We broke the news to you. According to a friend we talked to.
Okay, just maybe we're looking into it just a little too deep, but I find it a little interesting that this popped up, and the situation with Kevin Samuels is about a foreign woman being involved. We'll tie this all in together, hopefully by the end. Let's see. As we look at the finer details of things, there's an incident report from the ADP. In this report, we have a name, we have a narrative information that reads on May 5th, 2022, an officer responded to a call at the apartment regarding a person injured upon arrival. The officer observed the fire department engine number 21 performing CPR to a quote-unquote black male unresponsive on the floor of his apartment. Then Mrs. Hortensia Alcantara, who identified the male as Mr. Kevin Samuels, Miss A, stated that she met him last night. She came to his apartment. She spent the night with him. As we read here, it also says that early morning, Mr. Samuels complained of chest pain, and she attempted to help him, but he fell on top of her and proceeded to notify 911. Then Mrs. A also said that she requested 911 to contact the front desk for a defibrillator to keep Mr. Samuels responsive until Grady arrived, because she is a nurse. She is a nurse. This situation is just very odd. The only photo that we have right now of Mrs. A is the photo from the gram, and she is wearing a sombrero, repping the flag here, and the Kevin Samuels situation happened on Cinco de Mayo. Is that a coincidence? Again, now let's recap before we go on. We have to read between the lines. The narrative in the statement from the officer said that he was injured upon arrival. Now, if something happened to his heart, why didn't they state it in the report? The report says that he was injured, but reports say that there was something that happened that dealt with his heart. Now, the trippy part about it is that Kevin had a video shoot with Future. Future had a song called The Worst Day, and it was on Valentine's Day. We know Valentine's Day deals with the heart, okay? Now, Kevin Samuels may have not died of a broken heart, if you will, but he died of a heart attack. Is that not a coincidence? That's a little weird. As we read into the report here, who is Hortensia Alcantara from Atlanta, Georgia? Supposed woman to identify Kevin Samuels. In this article we read down, it says, this morning when the news of Kevin Samuels' death surfaced the internet, many people thought it was a joke. It was hard to believe, which caused an uproar on social media. But after some time, his fellow influencer friends confirmed his demise and expressed their sadness over the news. Furthermore, there are new developments on the cause of his death, which involves a lady named Hortensia Alcantara. This lady, who identified Kevin Samuels from Atlanta, according to The Sun, Georgia police officers responded to a 911 call from an Atlanta apartment on May 6th. When they arrived to the site, they saw fire department workers doing CPR on a black individual who was unresponsive. Then they met Hortensia in the location, who identified the guy as Kevin Samuels, the relationship guru. She stated that she met him the previous night, went to his residence, and stayed with him. But in the morning, he complained about chest pain. And when she tried to help him, he fell on top of her. She immediately dialed 911 for help. Later, he was taken to Piedmont Hospital, where he took his last breath. They say they're unsure if she lives there or not, at this place, at this apartment. They say she only said that she met Samuels that night. This is according to what she said. Came to his home and spent the night with him, but she did not mention if she lived there or not.
CIA. What does CIA mean? CIA is a term, this little acronym I use. Confident, intelligent, arrogant. Or you can just say cocky, infuriating asshole. Like most simps, when I liked the chick, I did the simp stuff. You know, I immediately start paying a lot of attention to her, telling her all the stuff I like, fawning after, running behind her. Young boy stuff. I was in like the 6th, 7th grade. Long and short of it, every chick that I ever liked, I automatically start simping for. Now, here's the thing. I have girls that liked me, but, you know, I could, you know, man up for them because I wasn't interested. But as soon as my feelings started getting involved, it was almost like I became a woman. So let me fast forward. What happened with Car? Car ended up, she was my girlfriend, checked the box, and you'd be like, yes and no. We're like in 8th grade by this time. You know, and like most simps, she got tired of me like that. So she broke up, broke my little heart, shattered me, destroyed me. No men around, didn't know what to do. No one really to talk to. Somebody talked about this stuff in the 80s. So luckily, testosterone kicked in. And then this chick I was calling left and right. This is back when you call people and you know, you get a busy signal. You know, the stuff we used to have to do on the phone, you get the busy signal call back. There was no caller ID, you know, man, it was crazy. So anyway, after my testosterone kicked in, I got pissed off at this chick. I was like, I got to a point where I got over her. Well, I ran into her the next year in 10th grade. Ran into her in 10th grade. She remembered the simp version of me. I grew 9 inches over the summer. So I went from being 5 feet tall, roughly in 8th grade, to 5'9" in 3 months. 9 inches over the summer. Incredible. So all of a sudden I'm Big Willie. So all of a sudden these chicks that chick that I used to like, who I simped out for, all of a sudden she was throwing herself at me. But I didn't care no more. So she called me and I wouldn't answer the phone, or I'd talk to her and I'd just blow her off. I learned something right here. This is almost like a laboratory experiment because I'm a strategic minded person, technical minded person. I start putting this stuff through scientific process. If nice got me bad behavior, bad seemed to get me good behavior. So I started being more bad. Here's what I learned. The worse I treated women, the more they like me.
Because a lot of women, black women, need to understand something, that your biggest enemy is not a white woman. Your biggest problem is not a white woman. Your biggest enemy is Marisol. Your biggest enemy is the Hispanic woman. She understands how to season food. She understands sensuality, femininity, and she was raised in a patriarchal environment. The difference between femininity and fake femininity is amazing. The Latina problem. Black women, you have a problem. Her name is Maria. Marisol. Love some brothers. And if you notice, they are the old, go to the old black side of town and you will see Hispanics. And the difference used to be that Hispanic men, and the men of each group used to kind of keep each other out of the way. Now, interracial dating, intercultural dating, whatever, is not as taboo as it used to be. And when you're talking about what you bring to the table, these women are bringing tables. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. A lot of women get upset when you ask, what do you bring to the table? And these women are bringing tables. Adios mio, papi. How are you? Yeah, your lead speak that shit. Yeah, they bringing tables. I don't like hot food, but trust me, I will get over it. I'm going to learn how to eat. I'm going to start. You hear me playing bossa nova music? I already do salsa and the tango and the merengue and the samba. I'm fuck around starting. You know what, man? Y'all get mad when brothers date out. Hey, well, split the difference. Get Maria. Get Maria. It's not really like dating out. It's not really like dating out if it's Maria, is it?
Morena, tan rico que se ve. Morena, mira como mueve. Morena, mira como goza.
Real TV